again conference. Thank you. Sal Aziz again from the UTOR branch, our disability officer, and I'm here to speak strongly in favour of motion 13 today. Because I think if the last few years of politics have taught us anything, is this. Our system, unfortunately, is no longer fit for purpose. First past the post is broken, it's producing distorted outcomes, it's alienating our voters and creating the conditions needed for dangerous populism to thrive. And as we all know from the last general election, Labour won a huge parliamentary majority, but this was on barely a third of the vote. Millions of people voted for parties that ended up massively underrepresented, and millions more stayed at home because they believed their vote simply wouldn't matter. And this is not a healthy democracy, it's an exhausted one. Under this system, entire regions become political monopolies. Safe seats mean politicians stop listening, governments become arrogant, and voters become cynical. And when people feel ignored for long enough, they start looking elsewhere. And this is exactly why parties like Reform and Restore have risen. Not because most people support its divisive politics, a lot of people I speak to actually don't when you speak to them, but it's because they just simply feel unheard, shut out, and abandoned by a Westminster system that only responds to a narrow band of swing voters in a handful of constituencies. And here's the danger. First past the post can hand enormous power to extremist or hard-right parties without majority support. And motion 13 says it clearly, and our last general election says it clearly, where a party gained power on less than a third of the vote. Now, if everyone in the UK decided they want to elect Reform and get them into power, and that's a majority of our voters agree it, that's one thing. But if we're in a situation where only 15% of our electorate vote for that and they can become into power, that's very dangerous. And that should set alarm bells within every trade unionist and every Democrat in this hall, because Reform and Restore is not a friend of the working people. So the answer to this is not scapegoating, it's about democratic renewal. Proportional representation means every vote counts equally, and it means parties must work together instead of governing through manufactured majorities. It means people in so-called safe seats finally have a voice, and it means governments would need general majority support from the public before exercising powers. And there's a growing number of parties that support it. My party, such as the Liberal Democrats, have argued this for generations, not because it benefits one party, but because it benefits democracy itself as a whole. And I think increasingly people across the Labour trade union movement agree that the system is failing. So I urge your support. Please vote motion 13 for needed change. Thank you.